What's up, guys? How you doing? Haven't posted a video with these guys. Figured why not do one now. These, gotta be super careful with. Veiled Chameleons. They're actually one of the largest chameleon species. This is just a little baby. Yeah, I don't like you on my shoulder. Let me get you off there, Bubba. Come on. Okay. Super active. But, these are not for everybody, as much as you might think that they are. These guys are unforgiving, meaning you have to take care of them properly. You can't just wing it. You can't just... This is not for a beginner. This... Excuse me, Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. This is not for a beginner. This is for more of a experienced handler or reptile keeper, whatever. You use the wrong kind of lighting. You don't use the proper lighting. Well, I guess that kind of goes hand in hand if you use the wrong kind of lighting, right? Anyways, these guys aren't to be handled all the time as much as you may want to. You can't hold these guys all the time. They can get stressed out super easily. It's not good. You don't want to risk it. But, sorry, I had to fix that. But, we'll go over basic care tip, whatnot. Now, to do a cage, or I typically start from tank size and work my way down the list. But with these guys, you can't have them in a tank. You really can't. You need to have them in at least in a cage. I like to do 2 foot deep by 2 foot wide, 4 foot tall. If you only have one. Now, yes, you can cage, or not so much cage, you can cohab these guys to an extent, to a very slim extent. You have to know what you're doing, you have to know what you're watching for, because some of them are very aggressive. Some of them are really docile. It just depends on the animal. It's just like people. Some people have a different personality than all the others, or whatnot. You know what I'm saying. Anyways, so yeah, 2 by 2 by 4 enclosure. Make sure you have. I use the screen. I don't use like a boxed off cage or nothing like that. I use Reptibreeze, I think is what it is, to be honest. But you want the temps on the ambient about 70 to 80 degrees, and then a hot spot of about 85 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, obviously. Real pretty. He's already trying to pass out. But humidity 50%. You want that humidity not too high, not too low. It does affect them as much as you may think that it don't. And yes, Florida is perfect for these guys. There's a lot of shaking a little too much for them. There's a lot of invasive veiled chameleons down in South Florida, such as like Fort Myers and whatnot. I actually got a buddy who goes out there and picks some of these wild guys up. This one's not wild. This one was... I was stupid. I bought it at a pet shop, a big chain pet shop. They had it at 50% off. I picked it up. He's a little beat up. I don't know if you guys can see it. He's got a sore foot. It doesn't affect his foot. He's got a sore tail. Yeah, it doesn't affect him from climbing or holding on to anything. He's got that foot that's a little messed up too. But he was 50% off. I picked him up. Excuse me. Ugh. So these guys will eat insects from, even house flies. Anything that they can really catch. I like to do super worms and crickets. Very seldomly do I do the crickets, but typically it's just the super worms, and they'll climb up. The super worms climb up the screen, no problem. And This guy right here, he will go down and get onto the ground level of the cage, and he'll pick him up off the ground if you don't see him climbing up the sides. They will eat some types of greens, dark leafy, such as like kale, mustard, or not so much kale, sorry, collard greens, mustard greens, turnips. Kale, they'll eat kale, but you don't want to do too much kale. You got to be careful with the kale. You want to do UVB? Ooh, I don't know why I'm burping constantly. I apologize, guys. You definitely want to do UVB. Sorry. If not, they can get MBD real quick, and that's with anything else that requires UVB. If it does not have the UVB, it can get MBD. MBD is metabolical bone disease. It's not something that you want to see your animals go through. Their bones deform, they get weak, they can even lose their ability to walk, use their limbs, whatnot. And a chameleon that can't walk or climb, it's only a matter of time. These guys at full grown, about 18 to 24 inches head to tail. Now obviously that tail, like you see it, is curled back right now, but about 18 to, he's not trying to let me uncurl it, 18 to 24 inches is typical adult size, with, again, the males being the bigger of the species due to sexual dimorphism. Again, it's not the same with snakes. Most snakes, it's the female that is bigger of the species. And these guys, they come from actually Saudi Arabia. That's where they originate. But a lot of the veiled chameleons that are on the market today, at least locally, is going to be wild caught here in South Florida. A lot of people will catch the adults, either sell the adults or catch gravid females, incubate the eggs, either release the females or keep the females or even sell the females. But typically most of them that are here local in the Florida region, they are wild caught from South Florida. So there's that. They're really pretty when they're not, I can't say he's stressed, because when they're stressed they turn black. But he is puffed up. He's not really wanting to be handled. But they are really cool. You just got to know what you're doing with them. You got to be careful. These are not for children. These are not beginning pets. These are something that you have to know how to care for reptiles. You have to know their needs and know why they need these certain things. That way you can prevent a lot of issues down the line. So, I'm going to leave you guys on that note. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that button right there in the middle. That's my last upload right there. YouTube thinks that video right there is best for you. So make sure you go check that out, guys. Give us a follow on Facebook. Like and follow us on Facebook, Grizzlies Exotics. Take care, guys.